Hi, I'm Alex Feisley, and today we're going to be talking about gateways in Netmaker. So gateways are a bit of a complicated topic, and I'm going to try to break it down quickly here. So gateway, in simplest terms, is a way to route traffic to and from devices in your network. And when we say devices, that could be user devices, it could be WireGuard config files, or it could be the Netclient. And this will allow those devices to reach your networks and vice versa. Lastly, a gateway can allow you to route full tunnel traffic to the internet from these devices. So that's it in the simplest terms, but as you'll see when we get into it, there's a lot of things to note when it comes to a gateway. So let's go ahead and show our server here. We're on our cloud overlay network. And first off, here we already have a gateway created. It was by default when we created the network, and you do need to have at least one gateway on your network enabled to route traffic from user devices and from WireGuard config files. So for instance, when we create a config file, it'll ask us where we want to attach it to. So let's say it's my router 1, and it'll say what gateway are we using. So we have that existing one. We could also use our Linux server. So actually, if we use that, it'll turn it into a gateway. There's a few different ways for that to work, but here's one of the ways. So now we have a config file, and it is attached to that gateway. If we go over to here in our Gateways tab, you can see our two existing gateways, and you can also see what's attached to them. So here I have my config files, and here's another config file. So the other thing we can attach to a gateway is a node. So here I have my nodes. Let's say I want Site 1 Linux to be routed through one of our gateways. Just here, I can say assign gateway, and there we go. It will start routing traffic to and from this Site 1 Linux using a gateway. So if I go here now, we can see the connected node there as Site 1 Linux. So there we have routing the Netclient and routing WireGuard config files. But what about user devices? If I go over here, log in, you can see we have access to our networks here. And when we connect to our cloud overlay network, we have the option to select which gateway we're going to use. So let's say I go ahead and use the demo server and click connect. When we come over here, we'll see that our user is now connected to this gateway. And that's how you attach user devices, WireGuard config files, and the Netclient to a gateway. Now, there are a couple things you're going to want to note when you do this. So let's go ahead and delete this Cloud Linux gateway, and we'll go ahead and recreate it just to show you what the options are. Now, here we have an option to set as Internet Gateway. This will allow it to route full tunnel traffic to the Internet. We also have the option to set a client DNS resolver. Now, this could be public. If we're doing an internet gateway, we'll want to use a public resolver. If we want to route traffic just to the Netmaker network, let's say we do that, you probably want to use private DNS here. This will use Netmaker's private DNS. You also have the option to enter your own DNS server. So let's say, for instance, you have an egress to a local site. Let's say it's 192.168.1.0/24. And let's say that your DNS resolver is at .53. So this will now route traffic for DNS through your egress to the DNS resolver. So you can use whatever private DNS server you have set up for your office or your VPC or anything else. So let's go ahead and set that. And just for the sake of showing you, I also have my internet access VPN that I've created here. So we can just make a separate network for that. And I'm going to use my server, make an internet gateway, and just use Cloudflare DNS there. And that's all we need to do. And then over here, on the client, we already have access. And you can see we have internet access here. So all I need to do is disconnect from my cloud overlay network and connect here. And that's all it will take to get us connected to the internet. So that pretty much runs through everything with how gateways work in Netmaker. And there's a lot more we could go over regarding it. There's a ton of other more complex ways of setting things up, but that gets the basics across. Again, you're going to route traffic to and from user devices to your Netmaker network. You're going to route traffic to and from WireGuard config files on your network, and you're going to route traffic to and from net clients or nodes if you want to, as an optional method as opposed to peer-to-peer networking. And then you can also do the same thing, but full tunnel to the internet. And just as note, currently I'm running my traffic now over a Netmaker VPN to the internet. So that's it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.